All right, it is time for the CBSN Minnesota Daybreaker. I'm Jason DeRusha. Are you like me? Do you dance to that countdown music? Woo! Yeah, we love it here in the studio. It's not often enough you get a countdown. You know what I mean? It's like the good old days of TV. All right, let's talk about the weather quickly. Ugh. Gross, cold. It's changing tomorrow, though. It's going to be less cold. We're making a very slow march to average, which sounds a lot like my academic career. It's nice. 36 is the high today. Sun will be out. That's nice. Sun was nice yesterday. I mean, I'm just rationalizing this at this point. It's not even Halloween, and we're below freezing. Let's talk about this. If you want something else to make you feel good, this warning from state health leaders about the rapid spread of COVID-19 in Minnesota. The White House COVID-19 advisor, Dr. Deborah Birx, was visiting North Dakota and South Dakota. She said in Bismarck she saw the worst mask wearing that she's seen in any of the 30-plus states she's visited. The rate of growth here in the Midwest, she says, is the worst on the planet. The governor saying, you know, we got to buckle down. They're not looking to tighten up restrictions, but they are asking people to do their part. And one of those things is that state health leaders are saying we should avoid large gatherings, even with your family, with your extended family. And this one hit me because we have sort of been gathering in a bubble with my sister and brother-in-law who live a block away from us. Both work from home. Kids are not going to school. They are not going to work. And my in-laws who live in Plymouth. So we have this kind of family bubble. But the state's saying maybe we shouldn't be visiting with extended family. What do you think about that? If you have been visiting, you know, in-laws or parents, tell us if you've been doing that. Are you going to stop? Because the state is saying, look, if we want to stop this, we got to rein it in. Or do you think this is a situation where the people who are being vigilant, and if they stop, it's not really going to matter, that the problem is, you know, the people who are not being vigilant? Anyway, share your thoughts on this. I think as we approach Thanksgiving, it is, and the weather turns cooler, a lot of us need that human interaction that our family provides. Student athletes in the state's largest school district, their parents freaked out, and they won. Their fall sports season is not going to be canceled after all. This is pretty interesting in light of what the state guidelines are. The school board last night voted 5-1 in Anoka-Hennepin, and they said, all right, let's bring back the hockey. Let's bring back the winter, the fall stuff, extracurriculars included. But this was largely sports parents and sports student athletes that are complaining. The school said, look, the data shows we got to go from hybrid to distant learning. And with that, the state says you got to cancel the activities too. Parents appealed to the school board. School board sided with the parents. So we'll see. Will the state step in? Don't know. The move to distance learning will go on as planned and will start next Wednesday, November 4th. A Minnesota senator revealed a loss in his family because of COVID-19. DFL Senator Matt Klein represents Mendota Heights and surrounding St. Paul suburbs. He's a doctor, too, at Hennepin Healthcare. He was on CNN sharing the story that his father-in-law thought coronavirus was a hoax and died of the virus earlier this month.
His granddaughter drove him to the hospital and dropped him off, and he walked in. And that was the last that our family ever saw of him. He became very fulminantly ill, was on a ventilator, and we said goodbye to him over the telephone.
Senator Klein says he and his father-in-law loved each other. They clearly had strong political differences. Klein says his father-in-law was a lifelong Republican who thought COVID-19 was an exaggeration made by Democrats and was skeptical of masks and social distancing. 1 week to go in the race for the White House, and the campaign trail still hot in Minnesota and Wisconsin. President Trump coming to La Crosse, which of course straddles the state, is right on the state line. His son Donald Trump Jr. will be here in Minneapolis. Joe Biden returning to Wisconsin on Friday. Postal Service recommending if you're going to mail in your early ballot, do it today so it arrives on time. You have lots of options, so you can drop off your ballot at a drop box. You can bring it to your city hall. You can vote in person early And you can still vote on Election Day, of course, as well. America's new Supreme Court justice reports to work this morning. Justice Amy Coney Barrett will take the judicial oath in a private ceremony today at the Supreme Court. She's 48, so she's going to be on the Supreme Court for a long time. Sworn in last night at the White House, filling the seat that was vacated by the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. A 6-3 conservative majority on the high court, but trying to guess exactly how people are going to rule when they get on the court. Well, you can look at the history of the Supreme Court and see how that works out. After more than 20 years in business, another Minneapolis restaurant is closed for good, and big questions now as to where 21-year-old young women from Edina and Eden Prairie are going to come to celebrate their birthday now. Chino Latino. It's been a gathering spot for those kinds of celebrations and more in Uptown for 2 decades, and now it's closed. Parasole said, look, Chino has been on the decline for a couple of years in sales. COVID put the nail in the coffin for it. Along with the change of Uptown, you know, Uptown is thriving as a destination for housing. But as far as retail goes, it is a ghost town right now. The Apple store is closing. Victoria's Secret has been vacant for a long time. North Face vacant. Calhoun Square, now 7 Points, is pretty much, they say it's 65% occupied, but all the restaurants in there have gone under. So anyway, Parasole's owners saying they like the concept. They could see it reopening at a different location sometime in the future. Let's talk about this video that came into our newsroom from Coburn Richards. This is a very rare sight across a Minnesota field. Well, I should say it's becoming less rare. That's a bull elk. And look at that sucker go. This is just east of Boyd, Minnesota. I'll show you where that is in a second, because the DNR says most of Minnesota's elk live in the northwestern corner of the state in Kitson and Marshall counties, and this is in the southeastern corner. I'm lying. I'm not going to show you where it is. You've got Google Maps. Look it up. Just remember, if you're a deer hunter, make sure you're hunting a deer, not an elk, because they are down in the southern part of the state. Have you seen this video yet? A coach for the Dallas Cowboys with a bit of a fire in his eye.
Obviously, the frustration for him.
Feeling the heat. Defensive coordinator Mike Nolan. I mean, he's got some Tabasco on his hand. He's not crying. There's no crying in football. You know, down in Texas, I believe they put Tabasco on just about everything. So that may have been on his hands after breakfast. Coach had to excuse himself so he could flush out his eye. He laughed about it once he got it cleaned out, but yeah, kind of funny video there. I've been getting a lot of questions because you guys know I love The Price is Right. Love it, love it, love it. And I'm a big Wayne Brady fan, too, on Let's Make a Deal. They're finally coming back with some new episodes. They're coming to prime time, too. Back-to-back episodes tonight. A couple more of these primetime specials later this year. They'll honor essential workers. And they've got new sets. Drew Carey has a new look. He's got a pandemic beard. It'll be interesting how they do the come on down, because there's going to be no studio audience. Same with Let's Make a Deal, where part of that show is the audience. But we'll see. They still will be saying come on down. George Gray will have that for you. So that's the set. Kind of, they're on stage. Interesting. I'm glad to have new episodes back. That'll be nice. Let's get into our talker today. We've been talking about whether or not you're going to stop gathering with your extended family, whether that, it's such a struggle, right? Amanda says, we haven't been with family or friends since the beginning of the pandemic. How about that, Amanda? They all hang out via video chat. They've already talked about the holidays are going to be different this year. Yeah, no question about it. It is going to be different. Here's Terry. If you're safe with them now, they should be safe at Thanksgiving. That's sort of how I feel, Terry. But when the state is saying, like, hey, don't hang out with extended family. I guess if you think about it, I'm the threat, right? I'm the one coming to work. So everybody should want to stay away from me. That's no different from normal. Peggy Demdewich says no change. Life has to start safely, though. Okay, thanks, Peggy. And here's Carmen, no changes, not living in fear, respecting the mask mandate, grudgingly but lovingly. Get together with family as much as possible. Yeah, as cases rise, you see those schools reeling it back in. Anoka Hennepin, even though they acquiesced to the sports parents. Man, the power of sports parents in this state, right? Fall sports were delayed to the spring. Sports parents spoke up. got it back. Can you imagine, like, if there were an uprising of debate parents? Think of that school board meeting. Woof. As a debate parent, I say that lovingly. I would present the case that the school board wouldn't even know what to do with. I bet they wouldn't care, though. Who cares about us? It's the sports parents. Well, good job. Speak up. Make your voice heard. That's what democracy is about. CBSN Minnesota, Daybreaker. We always let you speak your piece here on this program. Thanks for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow.